Listen carefully, because what I'm about to say may sting your ego. Right now, walking this earth are people who are no smarter, no richer, and not even more talented than you. Yet they manage to stay two steps ahead while everyone else struggles to understand the secret of their constant victories. The most uncomfortable part of this revelation is that their success is not an accident, not fate, and certainly not luck. These people follow unspoken, ruthless psychological laws that most don't even suspect exist. If you're familiar with the feeling of being undervalued, or if you see others soaring while you're stuck in place, focus now. After encountering this material, your view of power and human nature will change forever. Machiavelli grasped a truth that frightens many. Power is never given, it is always taken. Those who dare don't wait for permission and don't live on hope. They use principles we're about to discuss. These 7 harsh laws represent the hidden strategies that allow exceptional individuals to rise above the crowd. By mastering this knowledge, you'll be able to shape others' perception, control outcomes, and move through life with confident superiority. Of course, there will be those who reject these methods, hiding behind morality or kindness, but the irony is that right now, these same techniques are being used against them by bosses, competitors, and anyone who understands the real rules of the game. Today, you'll stop being a target and understand the mechanics of what's happening. And believe me, once you see it, you can never unsee it. Before we begin, fix one key mindset. Power is born in the mind. These aren't just words. The moment your thinking changes, your entire reality transforms. Take a deep breath and prepare, because the first law hits harder than the rest. Control the options, not the choice. If you truly want to understand the essence of influence, start with this principle, which serves as the foundation for any genius-level strategist. This method is quiet, subtle, and practically invisible until you learn to notice it. Most mistakenly believe that control means pressure, threats, or open dominance, but true masters know. Why force someone when you can simply shape the environment that naturally pushes them toward the desired action? The secret lies not in restricting a person, but in narrowing the circle of available solutions. A smart ruler never demands direct obedience. They offer a choice, already knowing that any option will lead to their predetermined result, creating a complete illusion of freedom and autonomy. Imagine you're offering someone 2 keys. The person feels significant choosing one of them, but both open your door. This is how quiet domination works, used by parents raising children, leaders managing followers, and corporations interacting with clients. If you need to achieve something, never ask if a person agrees to do it. Instead, clarify when it's more convenient for them to start, now or later, and which plan, A or B, suits them better. This approach creates psychological comfort, since every proposed path inevitably leads to the outcome you've already determined in advance. People feel involved, sense respect and control over the situation, not noticing that you've actually built a cage and they're merely choosing which corner to sit in. Machiavelli stated that the best way to manage a decision is to control the choice, perfectly understanding that human nature rebels against orders but rarely resists well-staged freedom. The effectiveness of this law is explained by the fact that our mind cannot tolerate uncertainty, and a clear set of options eliminates the fear of the unknown. A person chooses faster, feels secure, and most importantly, doesn't resist the result, considering it their own. Geniuses apply this principle everywhere. In negotiations, they offer 2 deals, each beneficial to themselves, and in conflicts, they put the opponent before a choice that weakens their position either way. The beauty of this law lies in its elegance. No pressure or confrontation, only intellectual design of the situation. If you want to rise above circumstances, stop trying to directly control people and start controlling the landscape in which they make decisions. Set the framework, direct the path, and manage the alternatives, allowing others to choose freely but exclusively within the world you've created. The truth is that people tend to fiercely defend their decisions even if they were artfully imposed on them, meaning once they've chosen your option, they'll strengthen and advocate for it. This way you get agreement without resistance and loyalty without coercion, because geniuses win not through aggressive manipulation, but through strategic design of choices. Remember the main rule: whoever determines the options controls the outcome. Law number 2. Sell the dream, not the harsh truth. It's no coincidence that the most influential figures in history understood the nature of human fantasies better than the laws of logic. Logic cannot lead crowds, inspire devotion, or create influence, whereas fantasy rules the human mind unconditionally. People are driven by hopes, fears, illusions, and secret dreams they're sometimes afraid to admit even to themselves. Everyone living on Earth carries within them a secret image of who they want to become, what their ideal life should look like, and how others should see them. And the true genius understands this perfectly. They don't fight reality, they embellish it. They don't preach dry truth, they package dreams. Instead of operating with bare facts, they offer feelings, because emotions are what make people act. It's difficult for most to accept that people don't want to see the world in its pristine, rough form. They crave reality to be softened, polished, and presented in a way that gives hope. Machiavelli once noted that people are more concerned with external appearance than the essence of things, and nothing has changed since his time. Look around. Advertising convinces you of your uniqueness. Politicians promise to build paradise on earth, and opinion leaders paint pictures of the perfect life. Many believe in sweet promises of quick success without suffering, and they do this not out of stupidity, but because illusion provides a saving emotional respite from harsh reality. Fantasy allows a person to escape from problems, feel their own significance, and for a moment try on the role of a better version of themselves. Understanding this mechanism, you'll stop wasting time trying to open others' eyes and impose heavy, uncomfortable truths on them, while beautiful fiction is always perceived easily and without resistance. True masters of influence virtuosically play this field. They unerringly determine what the soul craves, whether it's status, praise, comfort, adventure, or simple human recognition. They address this hunger not through complex logical arguments, but with vivid, living images, promising victory, elevation, and realization of hidden potential. It doesn't matter at all how much this dream touches reality. What matters is the feeling it awakens. After all, fantasy attracts people, while naked truth often repels. Law number 3. Find everyone's hidden weakness. To gain real power, you must master the following law. Find each person's vulnerable spot, that hidden lever you can press. Stop listening to what people say and start carefully watching what makes them react. Behind any confident smile, loud voice, or feigned calm always hides fear, shame, unsatisfied desire, or an old wound. Human behavior is never random. It's always dictated by an emotional core, and discovering this core gives you an advantage that no brute force can match. Machiavelli rightly noted, to control others, you need to understand what controls them. And this secret is revealed not through direct questions, but through subtle observation. Notice which topics trigger a defensive reaction in your interlocutor, which compliments light up their eyes, and which hints provoke anger or awkward silence. People give themselves away completely. What they brag about, what they avoid, what they're silent about, or what they fear losing serves as the best indicator of their true motives. Someone who tries desperately to prove their strength actually suffers from inner weakness. A person obsessed with seeking approval is terrified of rejection. Ostentatious superiority often masks an inferiority complex. Excessive openness speaks of loneliness, complete emotional closure of fear of becoming vulnerable. The perceptive observer doesn't judge these weaknesses, but studies them, understanding that each of us vitally needs a sense of security, feeling of personal importance, or hope for a better future. It's important to understand that these pain points don't always carry a negative connotation. Often, they're born from deep longing for respect, comfort, or inspiration. A person's dream can be just as powerful a control lever as their fear, and possession of this knowledge transforms influence into art, not primitive manipulation. Law number 4. behave like royalty to be treated as such. The surrounding world is a mirror of your attitude toward yourself. People react not only to your actions, but to your very presence in space. If you broadcast uncertainty, constraint, and pettiness, that's exactly the treatment you'll receive in return. However, once you start radiating calm strength and unwavering confidence, your environment will intuitively adjust to that standard, showing respect. Geniuses know that perception shapes reality, and the human brain assesses not so much skills and intellect as energy, posture, and tone of voice. One who wants to be obeyed must know how to command, not by shouting, but by how they present themselves. Imagine a ruler entering a hall. They don't beg for attention, don't demand confirmation of their status, and don't fuss. They simply move with quiet authority that leaves no choice but to recognize their power. Every movement, silence, glance, and even gait transmit one unambiguous message to others. I know my worth. I control the situation and am beyond question. It's precisely this behavioral model that outstanding individuals adopt, turning every action into a conscious act and every pause into a demonstration of strength. Law number 5. Master the art of timing. Often, the moment of action is more important than the action itself. There's a huge difference between the right action at the wrong time and a mistake made at the opportune moment. The former destroys your influence, the latter can multiply it. True masters understand that behind every great victory stands the invisible power of timing, separating random lucky ones from those whose success is natural and inevitable. Machiavelli once noted that the wise man does immediately what the fool arrives at the very end. But here it's not so much about speed as precision of calculation. It's patience wrapped in readiness, the ability to feel the rhythm of human behavior and catch the mood of the moment. Timing is the art of the observer, capable of distinguishing a ripe fruit from a poisoned one. It's the endurance of a predator who studies the prey's habits and strikes only when it's maximally vulnerable. Remember, impatience blurs advantage, and a premature move is as useless as a delayed one if conditions haven't yet formed. Power lies not in constant activity, but in decisive action at the perfect second. Law number 6. Ignore what's beyond your control. One of the most fatal mistakes is trying to fight the inevitable or manage chaos that's not within your power. People burn themselves out for years in arguments and complaints, voluntarily giving their strength to external circumstances. The genius, however, realizes a fundamental truth. You cannot control others, but you possess absolute power over your own mind and calm. One who wants to be obeyed must first learn to master themselves, because provocateurs and manipulators are powerless against your indifference. Refusing emotional involvement isn't weakness, it's the highest strategy. By ignoring insults and refusing to swallow the bait, you deprive opponents of leverage. View any attempts to throw you off balance as a game you're observing from the sidelines, keeping your mind cold and your inner territory inviolable. Any attempts to manipulate, provoke, or pressure you are doomed to fail if you maintain absolute composure. Perceive this law as mental armor. The more often you ignore what you cannot influence, the more energy you save for real achievements, while every unnecessary emotional reaction only weakens you. Icy silence in response to aggression doesn't just create a protective barrier, it instills fear and generates deep instinctive respect. Law number 7. Create captivating spectacles. Facts are forgotten, dry information is ignored, and logic is questioned. But a vivid spectacle burns a trace in consciousness, capturing attention and forming the reality you need. True masters understand that human nature is irrational. People feel first and only then think, following what strikes their imagination, shocks, or delights. Machiavelli noted that the crowd judges more with eyes than hands, because everyone can see, but the ability to deeply feel the essence of things is given only to the chosen few. Creating spectacle isn't cheap dramaturgy, but carefully planned narrative and the art of managing perception, making people believe they came to conclusions independently. History confirms this. From Caesar's triumphs to Napoleon's majestic exits, great leaders always knew that proper presentation can eclipse reality itself. The genius doesn't just act, they stage scenes that are etched in memory, perfectly understanding that a simple message will be forgotten, while a vivid visual image or powerful ritual will evoke sacred awe. An unexpected act or symbol awakens emotions and turns off critical thinking, allowing you to capture the audience's attention without any resistance. Player or piece? The principles we've examined aren't dry theory, but invisible psychological weapons. While you haven't mastered them, someone else is already using them against you. Imagine life as a chessboard, where most move blindly, reacting to every impulse, while geniuses calculate the game ahead, manipulating options and striking at the perfect moment. This entire arsenal, from limiting choice and playing on human fantasies to masterful command of timing and creating unforgettable spectacles, distinguishes thinkers from dreamers, doers from spectators. Power doesn't wait. It's taken by those who know the rules or create them, while those who continue following the crowd remain mere pawns that will eventually be sacrificed. Now that you see the hidden mechanisms and levers of control, you face a choice. Remain a sleeping observer hoping for luck, or become a strategist who shapes their own reality. Start implementing these laws consciously today. Observe carefully, act calculatedly, and never forget that the world respects those who radiate mastery even before speaking their first word. Let this knowledge resonate with your mind, and if you're ready to continue the path to dominance, use this resource wisely, because in the big game, there's only one question: are you a player or a piece?